Hello, I'm Faded Oasis, and today I'm talking about stuff. Talking about a lot of stuff today. Talking about every game I played this year on stream. So let me turn down this music, it's a little loud for me. Alright, that seems good. There's some background audio. So, I had an idea as we're wrapping up 2021 here. I've been doing a lot of streaming this year. I counted it all up. I played 41 games on stream. And I wanted to do some sort of Game of the Year thing. But I didn't want to just put the games in a ranked list. Because like trying to figure out the difference between number 7 or number 8 seems way too much work, especially for the lower tier game. Like figuring out the difference between game number 27 and 28, that's an amount of granularity that I don't want here. So I had an idea of just put them into a tier list. So I made a tier list, and I'm going to be spending today going through each game, remembering what it was, talking about it a little bit, and then placing it in the tier list here. As you can see, I had no idea what to name this, so I named it Faded Oasis, put all the games he streamed in 2021 into a tier list, and this is the result. Because I didn't like the name that I came up with for the calendar image, so. How you doing, Glass? I see you're in chat, bugging my bot to make sure to spam everybody. Hey, go check out my Twitch and my YouTube. So let's get this going then. Tree farming in Minecraft. Okay. So the games that I'm going to be going through are games that I've played on stream for more than 5 minutes. Or more than 10 minutes. And I'm saying that because there was a stream early on where I was just playing a bunch of, NES and SNES games and just flipping through them real fast. So like the 5 minutes I played of Donkey Kong it's not really a game I streamed. So let's start here with the first one. My first stream, Pokemon the Trading Card Game 2 for Game Boy. Here comes Team Rocket. We see Donkey Kong, and Donkey Kong would not be super S tier. It'd be... Donkey Kong is a good game, not a great game. Anyway, here's Pokemon. So I got all of I made a bunch of calendar-sized images for all of the games that I didn't have images for. So... Pokemon the Trading Card Game 2 has its fair share of faults. It first of all, it was never officially translated into English, and I don't know why that is. But honestly, it feels like a game that they took the original trading card game that was extremely well designed and polished very well, and they kind of just tacked stuff onto it. It seems kind of like they were kind of maybe not rushing, but trying to get it done quickly. And so like the second island seems great, but it's not. They didn't seem to balance it the same way as they did the original island, which is why everything's locked off to start and you can only go to like 2 places and then 3 places and then 2 places. The gameplay itself is good. It just builds upon the original. Overall, I think Pokemon the Trading Card Game 2 for Game Boy, here comes Team Great Rocket, is a great game. So I'm going to put it here in tier A. All right. Shortly after I started that stream, I went into game 2, Later Alligator, which was a short, fun puzzle game, kind of a puzzle adventure with, you're playing as Peter? No, Petey? Oh crud, what the heck? I don't remember the alligator's name. Starts with a P, I know that. Phil? No. This alligator who... No, you're not playing as them. You're playing as a very well-suited alligator who has just arrived in Alligator, New York City. Pat. Yes, thank you, Pat. And you show up to the hotel and Pat is sitting there and he is super freaked out because he knows that his family, his gigantic New York family, is planning something for him. And it's his birthday, but they think that everyone's planning on killing him. So it's a big adventure game full of a lot of fun, silly jokes and some references here and there. It's really funny. Overall, I think Later Alligator is a good game. I don't think that I would... I've played it twice now. I'm not sure that I would play it a third time. But I would definitely recommend it to people who haven't played it yet. Yeah, a short adventure game, probably 3 or 4 hours, I think. I think I did it in 2 streams. Maybe 1 stream. I don't remember. So then after I was alternating between these, I did a stream of NES and SNES games, and this is what I was talking about earlier. The first game that I played a considerable amount of from that stream is Super Mario World for the SNES. Oh, so, hey, if you were... By the way, if you were looking to see a tier list of games from 2021, this ain't it. This is the games I played in 2021, which is why I've got a Game Boy Color game, a adventure game from, I want to say 4 years ago, and now Super Mario World for the launch title for the SNES. Super Mario World is, if you don't know, Mario platformer, side-scroller 2D. It's the first one that the world... Not the first one that the world opens up and you can choose multiple directions, because Mario 3 had that as well. This is the one that adds Yoshi, and I guess it doesn't add the Koopa Kids either. That was also in 3. It adds items like the cape that you can use to fly, which is different than the leaf, which you can use to fly. It's a great game. I think it's a great game, yeah. I'm gonna put it here in tier A. These are almost lined up. Cool. Yeah, I did finish Super Mario World this year. It took me a few streams, but it was fun. So next, I did 1 or 2 streams. Again, don't remember. Probably 1 weekend stream of a small adventure game by House called Untitled Goose Game. Untitled Goose Game is... It is a hilarious game about being a goose and being the most asshole-ish goose that you can be. I have definitely played this game multiple times with a considerable span between them. So just a goose, got it. Yeah, just a goose. Basically, you have a checklist of things to do to be able to advance to the next area. You start by harassing a farmer, a gardener, by, moving around his flowers, or he's growing some vegetables. You move those around. You try and gather enough things for a picnic, or you take his hat off and throw it anywhere, or rake in the lake, or some cool things like that. And every time you do something, there's a very satisfying pop-up on the bottom of the screen of this section of your checklist comes up, and then a pencil crosses it out, and it's so satisfying to get that. And then you go to the next section and there are different characters to interact with, and you get to be an asshole in other different ways. It's fantastic. I think Untitled Goose Game is a great game. I don't think it's the best of the best simply because it's a game that I wouldn't play back to back. Like I wouldn't immediately want to replay it because most of the puzzles you can figure out. So that's where that is. My next stream was, then I started like some Saturday or Sunday chill streams where I just started playing some old Switch games. This one's Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which is not my favorite Mario Kart. It's still good. I'm not saying in any way that it's bad, because it's not. It has some items that change the game and change the strategy, because you can't just hold on to blue shells until someone you hate is in first, because they might have the item box. Is Double Dash your fave? Double Dash is really good. So Double Dash is really good, but Mario Kart DS is also really good. And I think Double Dash beats out DS. But DS was also wonderful with, I played a lot of that in college, just because only one person needed a cart and you can get 8 people into a game. And then I would just walk around campus and other people were playing Mario Kart. So, like, waiting for class to start. So, just suddenly, you know, hey, let's just play like 2 races before class. Anyway, back to Mario Kart 8. The new aspect in Mario Kart 8 is the ability to go upside down and like drive on walls, but the way the courses are laid out doesn't actually make that seem like that big a deal, because you're just driving on the normal racetrack and then you're just driving on the wall, and it's not like you did anything. It's just the whole course went up on the wall, so of course you're driving on the wall. It changes a little bit of the dynamic of when you want to bump into people, because if you're on a wall, then your weird gravity wheels become spinners, and if you hit a spinner, you go faster, so you want to bump into other people. But Mario Kart 8 is a game that I do play over and over again. Not over and over, but I do pop it back in the Switch and play it for a few hours every once in a while. So I'd say it's a good game. I was still doing some chill Sunday streams, and the next one is Minecraft. I had a 1.16 world, I think, that I streamed a little bit. I think this was just one episode of me just showing off the town that I had built, or the town that I had taken over. 1.16 was good. I didn't really get too much into it, and then I totally skipped 1.17. 1.18 came out a month ago, 1 or 2 months ago. And I've been playing a lot of it. Minecraft is really good. Minecraft is really, really good. I do still have some issues with it. Onboarding new players is tricky because you either need to have someone who knows about the game and knows what to do walking you through it, or you need to be looking up a wiki or watching YouTube streams of it and know a bunch of things beforehand. Because unless you're reading the advancements list that tells you to punch a tree, there's nothing in the game that tells you to punch a tree. and who looks at achievements is the first thing they do when they enter a game. So, and then even if you are watching those advancements, some of them are hidden until you do them. It tells you to punch a tree. Oh, right, it does have that pop-up to say punch a tree. I remember that now. They didn't have that notification always, but that is one thing they fixed. The biggest thing about Minecraft that still boggles my mind is something like 70% of players in Minecraft don't even know that the Nether exists. They don't know that there's another dimension to that game. Because if you don't watch anybody, if you just use it as a building simulator or as 3D Legos in creative mode or a Slate survival game, there's no real hints that the Nether exists. They've added the ruined portals, but if you don't try to finish a portal and somehow know you need to light it on fire, 3D Legos, so like, I don't know what I meant to say there instead of, some sort of, like, it's building blocks, is what it is. Build a pretty house with all these cool shapes. Currently playing Minecraft, there's lots I don't know. Exactly. And there's a lot, I don't have a problem with players not knowing. I have a problem with the game not telling you, or not teaching you in some way. Glass has seen me go into the end, but I'm not sure he knows how to get there. And nothing, absolutely nothing in that same game tells you how to get to the end. Or that there is a boss fight. Oh, did you? Yeah, but I had to tell you how to get there, right? I think I told you how to get there. I had to walk you through it because, like, you can try crafting everything together and eventually you'll come across something that you don't know how to use and you try using it and it flies away. Okay. So that means run 3,000 blocks in that direction? What? No. Nobody is going to assume that. What else was there? Yeah, but all of those problems aside, I've been enjoying Minecraft a lot. Enough that I'm gonna put this in the best of the best. I didn't stream a lot of Minecraft, but I did play it when I was off stream a lot. So I enjoyed that. Next, I did a short stream of a small little puzzle game on the Switch and on other platforms called CrossSneak Plus. I talked about it at the time. CrossSneak reminds me of a PS2 style puzzle game. It uses the same controls as Yoshi's Cookie, and barely anybody knows what that means. You have a grid of tiles, and at any point you can slide an entire row or column to move the tiles around, and you're trying to make, I believe you're trying to make groups of tile. No, you're trying to make complete lines of tiles. But you have to do it by, you can't move individual pieces, you have to move a line of pieces. And it's just one of those puzzle games that you do it for as long as you can until it gets too hard or you screw something up, and then the time runs out. So like Tetris Endless Mode, or not like Dr. Mario, because you can finish a Dr. Mario level. What's the game? The Pokemon Puzzle League. Games that will keep going on until you just lose. CrossSneak I played it for that stream, and then I think I played it once more, but I never really came back to it. Crossnake's an okay game. If you get it cheap enough and you like non-stop puzzle games, then absolutely try it. But if you're, I would not recommend it to someone who is not already looking for another puzzle game to play, basically. So I was still looking, at this point I was still looking for games to stream multiple times, and I came across Splatoon. I'd played Splatoon before, and Splatoon became that game that I play when I needed something to fill in one stream, which is good because you can just play it for 3 hours and be done. I have issues with Splatoon that come up every time that I stream it, and mostly that it takes so long to get into a match for the match to be over very quickly. I know for what's it called, Turf War, it's like it's a 3-minute round and then takes 2 minutes waiting for the group of people to get into the game, even though most of them were in the game last time. So you should just be able to go right into the next game, but no, you got to jump back out to the lobby in case anyone quits, and then wait to fill in those extra slots. And sometimes you have a full lobby and you're just waiting for seemingly no reason. And then I think the map rotation stuff is fine, where there are 2 maps to play, and every 2 hours those maps change. I think it could be a little more often, or it could be 3 maps per rotation, but I do like the idea of play these low number of maps for a while enough to get used to them and learn them and really learn them, and then let's go to new maps. Because I've played games like TF2 where there are so many maps that it takes so long to learn them, because you play it once for 10 minutes and then you're done, you're off the level, and you won't see that level again for hours of gameplay. And then you come back to it and you'll be like, I kind of remember a little bit about this, and it would take so long to actually remember it. So I like that in Splatoon, you play the same low number of levels over and over, and then it will introduce you to more ones. The 4 versus AI mode, what's it called? Like the horde mode thing. Working for Grizz, that co-op thing. I really like that. I got deep into that one day, for like a week actually, where all I wanted to do was co-op and learn more guns. Another thing about Splatoon, it has a lot of guns, a lot of weapons. It has arguably too many weapons. I don't know what the difference is between the Tri-Slosher Pro and the Tri-Slosher Deluxe and the Tri-Slosher Elite and the Special Tri-Slosher and it seems like each one of those has some minuscule changes, or maybe it's just what sub-weapons you can have, I can't tell. That's why I stick with the gun that I know. Overall, I'd say Splatoon is a good game. Definitely something if you're looking for quick, breezy, kind of like a shooter, but not actually violent. And I definitely dig the aspect of area control, of trying to fill in your area with ink so that your opponent moves slower and would need to fill it in themselves before advancing. So that's cool. Next, I did one stream. These next 2 games are from that one stream, where I did my dailies. At the time, I was playing a couple free-to-play games that just had daily stuff, and I just wanted to play those on stream. So Pokemon the Trading Card Game Online. And I got into this again. I used to be into it, oh god, years and years ago. I got into it again after playing Pokemon Card Game 2 for Game Boy. Trading Card Game Online has a very cool sealed deck mode, like a pre-constructed deck mode, where the game gives you a pre-constructed deck to start, and as you play the game, you earn coins, and you can spend those coins on other pre-constructed decks that you really can't change anything of. And I mean, you can take those cards out and build more decks, but there's a game mode that you have to use a pre-constructed deck, and it seems like most of the pre-constructed decks are balanced against each other in a way that makes the game really fun. So like there's a meta in knowing which pre-constructed decks are dominant at the moment, and then another set comes out with 2 more pre-constructed decks that mix it up a bit. And it means that you can have the best deck or one of the best decks in the format for just the price of some coins that you get for free. It's not like it's a very easy to get into mode compared to games like Pokemon or Magic, where you go and play like Standard or Legacy or something, or Modern in Magic, where decks can cost thousands of dollars, and meanwhile Pokemon's just like, yeah, just buy any of the theme decks and you can just play it, it's fine. Pokemon does have all of that higher tier stuff. I tried getting into Pokemon Standard, but getting some of those cards was a lot harder than I thought it would be. Turns out you can't put any money into the game. It's a free-to-play game that does not have a store that you can put a credit card into. In order to put money into the game, you have to go buy real-life booster packs, which there are supply chain issues and people buying out stores, so that's going to be hard. But real booster packs have codes for trading card online packs, which is really cool. I think that a lot of different trading card games should do that. But that's the only way to actually put money into Trading Card Game Online, is to buy packs or buy codes on third-party websites. So trying to build into a standard deck and trying to be competitive was exceedingly difficult. I looked up lists of what the best decks were. It was just too hard to put money into it, so I never actually got that into it. Pokemon Trading Card Game is okay. It's a way to play Pokemon, which is a really fun trading card game, but it's got too many caveats and too many little things about it that I think it's just okay. And that's fine. Okay games are fine. I mentioned that I had 2 games I played that stream. The second one that I was doing all my dailies for is a game called Mahjong Soul. It's a free-to-play Mahjong game where you get to play Mahjong and get some free currencies that you can spend on anime girls and anime boys and anime pandas, maybe. But you don't spend them on the actual characters. You spend them on spins of a wheel that you might get your character. Maybe, who knows? It's one of those gacha games. Gacha being gachapon, the Japanese, like the vending machine thing with all the capsule machines that have, you put your quarter 50 cents in, or your 10 yen, 20 yen in, and you get a little capsule with a little toy in it, and it's random. Who knows what you could get? That's kind of what this is. You put your money into the game, and then you get some spins of this wheel, and who knows what you'll get. Oh, look, you didn't get the character you wanted. You should try again. Or you got the character that you kind of wanted. You should buy some outfits for them. It's got a lot of that, but it's still a fun Mahjong game. It's a way to play Mahjong for free with other people. It's got a lot of different options for gameplay stuff. If you want to make it like a private room and say, hey, play with friends. We're going to turn red 5s off. We're going to, do X, Y, and Z. So I think Mahjong Soul is overall a good game. If you're looking for Mahjong, that's a great version of it, and it's free, mostly. If you don't care about what your character is. Next I got into, I was mostly figured out my capture card issues. So I wanted to stream more Switch games. And a brand new Switch game came out, and by brand new, I mean a new version of an old game. It's Super Mario 3D World. I do not own a Wii U, have never owned a Wii U, so I haven't played any of the Wii U games like Super Mario 3D World. It is a fine 3D platformer. It has discrete levels like Mario World. But the special things about it that make it stand out are it has cat suits. And it has... This is the one that introduces double cherries, I think? Or maybe 3D Land introduced double cherries? I don't remember. But it's not really anything special about it. It's a good Mario game. I'm gonna say it's an okay Mario game. There are better ones. I did enjoy my time, but it's not the best. While I was playing Super Mario 3D World, I was alternating with that and... Oh no, I did a one-off stream. Because I was playing so much 3D World that I'm like, this is good. It's not the best. So I went back and I played the best. It's Mario 64. I am extremely biased toward Mario 64. It is the first 3D platform I played because it was the first 3D platform on a Nintendo console. This goes in the best of the best, no question. I do still see issues with it when I play it every once in a while. First off, playing a good version of Mario 64, you have to jump through some hoops to do that. You can pay for Nintendo's online thing, but that's not the original version of the game that was released on N64. It's version 1.1. So if you appreciate some of the glitches, you won't find them. Like backwards long jump. It also... The Nintendo Switch Online version is not emulated great. They could have done a whole lot more. They could have done what any other emulator on PC is doing. Easily. Because the Switch is powerful enough to run an N64 emulator. Heck, the Wii was strong enough to run an N64 emulator. And honestly, that's the Wii version of Mario 64 is probably the third best version, right behind the actual original game on the N64 and the PC port that is, you have to do some questionable things to get a hold of it. But Mario 64 is one of my favorite games. And then later in the year, I did Glass convinced me to actually do some speedrunning of Mario 64, which I enjoyed doing at the time. I don't think I'm going to do any more speedrunning. I enjoyed learning some of those tricks, and I'm definitely going to incorporate some of them every time I go back to play Mario 64 again, because, God, Shifting Sandland, I was so bad at that. And Glass is just like, what are you doing? Just jump over this hill, and you can just get there. I'm like, oh, wow, this is easy. So go back and check those streams if you want to watch me get better at speedrunning. So I had played the Mario 3D World and Super Mario 64. Mario 3D World came with a bonus game that they packed in on Switch. Go back to here and paste it. Bowser's Fury. Bowser's Fury is an open world Mario game that still has discrete levels. It's not quite like Odyssey. It's like Odyssey in that there's an open world, but the open world is a water level with several groups of islands that are kind of clumped together to make a level. And as you approach one, it pops up a name and says, hey, you're at this level. Go do this, go get this cat shine. I really like some of the concepts that Bowser's Fury did. And I very much hope that they take that and they build a real, like they build Odyssey 2 and it incorporates a lot of the aspects of Bowser's Fury into it, because it was very fun just running around and going, or swimming around, or riding on, not Dory, Plessy, and just going to the other levels freely, and you can just, oh, I could just climb up the side of this level and just be in the middle of it now, and oh, I found the secret shine. So that's very cool. I think Bowser's Fury is a great game. I think if you so Bowser's Fury is weird because it's packed in with Super Mario 3D World. You can't really buy it separately, but it's worth playing. It's not $60 worth playing because it's short. But combined, I think those two games are worth the $60. Or hey, maybe you can get them on sale. I don't know. Nintendo's having some sort of sale. I didn't really look into it. Maybe that's on sale. It might not be. Then I was on a tear with Switch games and just wanted to play more Switch games. So I went back and grabbed an old Switch game that I had barely played, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. Super Mario 3D World had small Captain Toad levels in it that are just plain puzzle games that you walk around as Toad and try and get all the stars. And those were so fun that I wanted to go back and actually play through Captain Toad again and get everything on all of these levels. Each level is like a small cube of a level that you, or most of them, small cube of level that you can walk around and turn around, and it's like a little diorama scene, and it's very unique puzzle game that I don't think I've seen anyone else do, but I very much enjoyed it. I think this is a some split between an A tier and a B tier. Is it great or is it good? Because it did go on for a little longer than it like overstayed its welcome a little bit. I was kind of getting a little bit bored near the end of it, especially with getting some of the stars that were extremely difficult. So I was just playing the same level over and over again. Because they tried to do like some weird platforming stuff, or you need to go quickly, and Toad is not a good platforming member and does not move quickly. Toad picks things up fast. That's it. So I think I'm going to put that in a good game. It's a good puzzle game. Next is the first, no, I was going to say next is the first game that Glass convinced me to play on stream. Actually, is it? Yeah, this is the first game that Glass convinced me to play on stream. Subnautica. Subnautica is an adventure game. It is an open world crafting. So this is the point, Glass, that I mentioned in my tweet for my going live, you're going to disagree with me here. And you're going to tell me you're going to tell me I'm wrong. Oh, crud, I never actually tweeted it out. Well, it's in the tweet that I just made, apparently, because I typed it all out and never hit tweet. Good job, Faded. Subnautica is a cool open world adventure game with crafting, and you can take your time doing everything, and then a shark runs up on you and scares the hell out of you. It is not for people who are afraid of deep sea creatures coming out of nowhere and scaring the hell out of them. It is not for people who are afraid of drowning. It is very cool and has a lot of systems that you can craft together, and I like the crafting mechanics. This is 100% not for me. Absolutely not for me. I see why other people like it so much. It seems like a good or great game. But there are aspects of that I just noped right off of. It's mostly that it seems like a chill crafting game and then out of nowhere becomes a horror game because you're being chased by something that's trying to eat you. And that transition can be super sudden because you're in the ocean, you can't see that far, suddenly there's a shark on your tail. Thank you, Glass. This is when Glass decides that when we play Civilization again tomorrow, he's just gonna turn on me and try and kill me. Yeah, I see why Glass likes it so much. If I could, I would. Oh, right, we're set on a team. We can't actually... oh, well. Alright, so... yeah, I see why other people like this game. It's not for me. And I actually didn't finish that game because I noped out of it so hard. While I was playing Subnautica, I was alternating with Shovel Knight Treasure Trove, which is a collection of 5 games, or 1 game and 4 DLCs is I think how it is, or something like that. But you can buy the DLCs standalone, so I guess it's 5 games. But anyway, 5 Shovel Knight games that are 2D platformers that all have unique control styles. And they remind me a lot of Mega Man style platformers, not actually like Mega Man because you don't collect power-ups along the way. But that sort of discrete and precise gameplay. I really like some of the movement options in some of them. I'm going to be honest, a lot of Shovel Knight, the 5 different chapters or different games, it kind of blurs together for me. So I don't remember specifically what's different about Spectre Knight or versus Shovel Knight versus... I mean, I know the King had that card game that was great, an amazing card game just shoved in the middle of this platformer. What? Kind of a strategy card game where you place pieces matters because everything shoves everything around. Plague Knight had some really fast movement stuff, I think I remember. So that was good. Overall, I think Shovel Knight is a great platformer. Yeah, that's right. I put Shovel Knight in the same tier as Super Mario World. What? Especially since I'm not sure if it's true anymore, but you could buy Shovel Knight and just get all of the episodes all at once. and it's a lot of game. And then when I noped out of Subnautica, I went to a different crafty / collecty game, Slime Rancher. Slime Rancher is a chill game where you have a ranch and you just collect some slime and have them breed and have them feed them so that they give you plorts that you can sell and get more money and build up a bigger ranch and collect more slimes. And hey, Zerp, how you doing? Subnautica at Tier D seems appropriate for you. Yeah, I just talked about it, how it is. That's why I named it Tier D, not for me. Little behind the scenes, when I first did this chart, it said Tier D disappointing. Subnautica is not disappointing. It's a great game. It's just for someone else. You died at a huge part of the game. Tier F is bad. There is no Tier F. I do not believe that any game no, I think... No, you know what? I do not believe any game I played this year was a bad game. I believe that they were all at least okay, but some of them were not for me. I'll go into the ones that are closest to Tier F when I get there. Anyway, Slime Rancher. Slime Rancher is a chill game, very chill. No time pressure whatsoever. About just ranching slimes, and you can kind of not merge two slimes together, but make hybrid slimes so that you get more, get you more money, or and they have different requirements for what you need to do to feed them or keep them alive, or what they produce, and then there's a science component after that you take some of the plorts that you're getting and you can use them to build other things. And I first played it in early access when a lot of the stuff wasn't in it, and they added a lot that make that game super fun to just chill out and play for a while. I think Slime Rancher is a great game. So this was actually a pretty good era of streaming for me, because I was playing two great games back to just alternating between them. Hey Destiny, how you doing? Slime Rancher is the game where we threw slimes in the ocean and spent money on a gold statue. Yep, exactly. Yeah, so that Slime Rancher was super fun. I'm going to take a quick break because Twitch says I need to run ads, so I'm going to run ads. I'll be back in just a second, in just like 2 minutes, and I'm going to keep talking about the games I was streaming this year. So stick around. I'll be right back. And I'm back. All right. So I want to say hi to Zerp and Destiny, who showed up just before I took that break. Thank you for showing up. I appreciate everyone who watches. Hey, if you want to check out my streams, twitch.tv/FadedOasis. All my VODs are up on YouTube. Go search for Faded Oasis. My going live notices, Twitter @FadedOasis. And Glass is doing the thing. Go look at that stuff right up there. So I'm going through my list of all of the games that I've played in 2021, putting them into a tier list, as it says up top. I am now going back to Nintendo Switch games with new Pokemon Snap. Where did this thing go? Here it is. Here. New Pokemon Snap. This is a game that I have been waiting for since the first Pokemon Snap. It is a very chill game about taking pictures of Pokemon while you're on a minecart that you can't stop. And it has a puzzle aspect to it where as you take pictures or interact with Pokemon as you're going along this minecart track, you can unlock things and have Pokemon do other things, and it has a puzzle aspect of trying to get the good good pictures of Pokemon. About 20 years of waiting. Yeah, about that. I think I mentioned at the time I found out exactly how long it had been. It's so but it is a better game than Subnautica. Overall, new Pokemon Snap, I was thinking about it. Fight me. I was thinking about what Glass was saying about new Pokemon Snap because he'd also been playing it. I don't think it is as good as the original. It's good, but it's not. The original had some things that, with the new structure of how they did the levels in new Pokemon Snap, doesn't make sense. The original had puzzles where you could evolve Pokemon over the course of that puzzle. Some of the puzzles were too hard, especially for a kid's game. Yeah, that's another thing. The puzzles can be a bit opaque with telling you how to do things, and I particularly got caught up several times just trying to figure out, how do I get a picture of this Pokemon? Where the hell even is it in the level? I stopped playing Snap because I found I just wanted to Google everything instead. Yeah, that's kind of one of the bad aspects of this version of it, whereas in the original, like, there weren't that many options for what you can do, and the levels were smaller, and most of it, like, I guess they told you more about the levels. Wonderful. Yep. Okay. They told you more about the levels and more about what you needed to do in them, I think. They gave you more hints that made sense. There is a hint system in new Pokemon Snap, but it is not clear what's going on. It's someone shows you a badly taken photo and says, "Hey, there's something like around here. Maybe you should figure it out. There's this Pokemon." Or, "What's that sound?" I don't know. What is that sound? I didn't hear that sound. I'm looking at this blurry photo. What are you talking about? I don't know what to do with this. I had it in my head that early on in that game that I was going to do all of those different requests, and 2 levels in, I was like, no, these are, those are some very hard puzzles, and I do not want to have to look everything up, so I didn't do that stuff. New Pokemon Snap, I'm going to say, I like it. I mean, I did get all the Pokemon because I wanted to. But then I stopped playing it. So I guess that means it's an okay game because I probably don't want to go back to it anytime soon. I do still like the game, and I probably would play it again in a few years, but I don't want to play it anytime soon. Okay, then I had a small indie day on either Saturday or Sunday, where I played, first I played Journey. I'd say def top of C, low B for Snap. Yeah, top of C, low B. That makes sense. I think I'm putting it on C just because, for a game about replayability, I sure don't want to play it right now. And it's been months since I played it last, so. Journey is a small adventure game that with no dialogue, where You're just running through the desert and solving puzzles, and then there's like cutscenes back to trying to figure out what this story is. It's got some environmental storytelling, but a lot of cutscenes of you and some sort of god that sent you down here or something like that. And it has an interesting aspect where it's always online, and it's mostly a co-op game, but you don't choose who your co-op partner is. You join the game, you open the game, you start playing it, and then like 2 or 3 levels in, or this is how it happened for me, like 2 or 3 levels in, there was just someone else in the level already. And we chirped at each other a bit because there's no talking in the game. You can just chirp and jump. We chirped at each other a bit, and then they showed me around, and they showed me how to do some puzzles and how to get some secrets, and then we kind of like played around a bit and had a fun co-op journey throughout this game, and it was pretty great. In fact, I would say it's better than pretty great. I think Journey is one of the best games. I've only played it once, and I only played it that day, but that's all it needs. Like, that experience of finding a partner and just discovering this world with someone else, even if they already know it, even if they're showing you things, there's something about that feeling. And it's hard to put in words, and I'm struggling here. I'm not a video game journalist. I don't know how to think critically about video games that much. Definitely one of my favorite games. I do want to go back and play it at some point again. And then, so that was like the first half of the Sunday stream. And then I played another short adventure game / walking simulator called What Remains of Edith Finch. This VOD does not exist. If you didn't catch it live, you're not going to be able to watch me play this game. I'm sorry. There are several issues with this game. First, it has 3 pieces of copyrighted music that YouTube picked up on immediately and said, no, you can't do that. I could demonetize it and put it up there and mute sections of, I think I have to mute sections of it to have it actually go up, and I don't want to do that. Especially because in those scenes, the music is a major part of the game. The second problem I have with it is it's not a game for streaming. What Remains of Edith Finch is a very sad adventure game, walking simulator, where you go around this house that your family had, that your grandmother had, your old family's house that has, every time there was a new family member added, they built another room onto this house, and you go through everyone's room and you talk about their life and their death. And you're like, yep, my great grandmother built this house, or came over from the old country and had the house on a boat or something like that. And then my uncle, who, you know, this and that, but you talk about their lives and their deaths, and it's a very sad game, to the point where most of that game, me streaming that game, was me sitting in silence, just watching. I enjoyed playing the game. I hated streaming the game. I very much wish I did not stream it and just played it myself. I'm going to put this in. So I'm going to put it in tier D, not for me, with a caveat. And it's not for me because I streamed the game. I should not have done that. I should have just played it. If anyone's looking for a sad game and has played some of the more recent sad games and is looking for like an older one, What Remains of Edith Finch, it's a very, very good story. And I liked playing it. I just hated streaming it. Moving on, after 2 indie games, I decided to get into another indie game that was a genre I was not too familiar with. Turn-based tactics with Invisible, Inc. Invisible, Inc. is a turn-based tactics game where you are a group of spies that is infiltrating large bases. Not really government bases, more corporation bases. And you, basically they've knocked your spy organization down a peg, so you're trying to claw your way back. So you're infiltrating their bases and trying to get materials and everything. It's a roguelike. It is absolutely a roguelike. It might be... Is it actually a roguelike or a roguelite? Let's see. It's turn-based. It's grid movement. It's not ASCII, but that's a dumb requirement for calling something a roguelike in 2021 or 2016 when this game came out. Roguelite means there's things you gain with every round that improves the next round. So you don't improve your characters, but you do unlock other characters that you can start as. And they're not necessarily better characters, they're just different characters. They have different abilities. Oh, actually, you do unlock, you can bring in different computer programs, hacking programs. So I guess it would be a roguelite then. But not really, because it's not that advantageous. It's just different things again. It's not better things. So it's not like... what's the name of that game? It's not like Rogue Legacy, which is absolutely a roguelite, because it's not turn-based, it's not strategy, and it's not... And you actually gain things, gain new abilities. This is more roguelike. It's a tough game. I very much dig the style, and it made me want to get into tactics games more. And hey, if you want to catch me playing Invisible, Inc., maybe tune in tomorrow during my 12-hour stream. It's one of the games that's on the list for maybe I'll play this. It's a very fun game. I think it is a great game, honestly. I'm trying to think of bad things to say about it. I know I don't want to be negative, but I can't think of much bad about it. You know what? I put that in the wrong place. Hold on a sec. I'm going to put Invisible, Inc. over here in Best of the Best. I think it's that good. Didn't you really struggle toward the end? Only with the difficulty, because I was playing on Expert. The higher difficulties get harder, but not in a way that's unbeatable or unfair. They flat out tell you, well, no, okay, they don't tell you everything that's going to happen, because there are some things that you need to learn. That's still what makes it a roguelike. But, the game presents a situation where you need to, there are like 3 very narrow pathways that you have to figure out which one to take, not just which one to take, but where you need to stop, where you need to not go as far as you can, where you can hide, where you can duck behind things, where you might be able to get things that benefit you. There was nothing about that game that was unfair. And I think that makes it an amazing game, because you can just make a difficult game, or you can just make any game difficult by making it unfair. Just, it takes a billion shots to kill this enemy, or like, it's a roguelike. All of the levels are generated randomly. You could think that it's absolutely super simple to get into a level that's unfair, that's unbeatable, but they designed it so that you can't. Everything is beatable, and it feels that way. And every time you die, you feel like it's your own fault and not the game's fault. And so many games get that part of it wrong. There's so many games I'm like, oh, that dumb enemy got in my way, it's their fault. Not, I didn't look out for them. So that's one of the reasons why I really like Invisible Ink, and that why I'm considering playing it tomorrow. And probably at some point going back to it and doing another full expert run. Or seeing, because there are difficulties above expert, like different variants and stuff. I want to see what that stuff is, or try some other characters. I still haven't done that. Alternating with Invisible, oh no, wait. I guess this was alternating with Invisible Ink for a little bit. I did a few streams of a mod for Portal 2 called Portal Reloaded. Portal 2, in case you don't know, is a puzzle game about shooting portals that you can go through one and be in the other, so it's kind of a space manipulation puzzle game. Portal Reloaded adds a third portal, which is time. You are in the facility of Aperture Laboratories, and you can shoot the green portal and go forward, I think it's 20 years, to a very decayed looking facility that has not been kept up at all, and some things change about it, and you have to play with cool time mechanics of bringing past blocks into the future, or bumping them around in the past to change where they were in the future, or other cool time, or other time mechanics. It's basically another set of levels and another portal gun, and it's a really good mod. I'm going to put that on Good Games. I highly recommend anyone who enjoyed Portal 2 and enjoys thinking about time mechanics, go play this game. Even if you enjoyed Portal 2, go play this game. It's free. And hey, if you don't like it, oh well, bounce off of it and go play something else and go uninstall, like whatever. But it was absolutely, like, puzzles about shooting a laser through one portal, through time, and then through a new set of portals. If you don't like it, shout angrily at Faded. Yes, sure. You know what? If you don't like Portal Reloaded, go to my Portal Reloaded VOD and tell me what you didn't like about it. Please be detailed. Don't just say I didn't like it, because those kind of comments aren't, well, they are helpful. They drive up metrics and YouTube algorithm bullshit. But, like, let's have a discussion about it. Tell me what specifically you didn't like about it and why, and what you think they could have done to make you like it, or tell me some aspects that you did like about it. And I'd honestly really like to have a conversation with people who are excited and or angry about Portal Reloaded. So I was on, after Invisible Ink, I was on a roguelike kick, and I won't like it, it's not Portal 3. How do you know that? How do you know it's not Portal 3? It has a third portal. The 3's right there. I know it's not Portal 3 because it's made by Valve and they don't know how to count to 3. Haha, memes. Anyway, after Invisible Ink, I was on a roguelike kick, and Glass said, hey, yo, you should play this on stream, so I played Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon is absolutely a roguelite. Roguelike. You get other party members that help you rogue more, but it's just more rogue. You forgot about Mystery Dungeon. I spent so long on it, though. It has a story mode that's honestly not great, but playing through the levels is fun. You get to be a Psyduck, or a Cubone, or, I mean, I guess like a Bulbasaur probably, but why would you want to be a starter? Everyone is a starter. Be the cool, unpopular Pokemon. I'm disappointed that you can't be a Gengar. I'm disappointed that Gengar is the bad guy in that game. But hey, Pokemon. It's Pokemon but rogue. Hey, if you don't know what I mean when I talk about rogue, I mean a grid-based, turn-based movement, where you move around and can attack enemies, and every time you move, everyone else moves. And every time you take an action, everyone else moves. Who else would the bad guy be? I don't know. Mewtwo? Let's just go with Mewtwo. Let's go with one of those third generation Pokemon that just wants to destroy the world. Let's go with... Oh wait, they did that, didn't they? Let's go with, like, Alakazam. Well, was it Alakazam or Cabra on the bad guy? Pikachu was the... Yeah, let's have Pikachu be the bad guy for once. How about that? I mean, there are legendary Pokemon in that game. Anyway, I think Pokemon Mystery Dungeon is a very fun game. I do have some problems with it. It does drag on for a little long. There are a lot of things to do which can take away from getting through the story mode. And once you start doing a lot of those extra things, it does get repetitive because you're playing very similar levels over and over again because it's Rogue. Drag on for long. You should try post game. That drags on. That's kind of what I mean. Like, I did some side events and then decided to just go through the storyline, and even then it was kind of dragging a little long. And then you started talking to me about, or no, the game started explaining the post game stuff. I'm like, oh, that's a lot. I like this game, but not that much. I think Pokemon Mystery Dungeon overall is a good game. There were times at the beginning of it when I thought it was a great game, but honestly, it was a bit too long. And they did change things from level to level, but not enough, I think. Hey, then I did one stream where I played, I guess it's the fourth game in a series, where one of them's not really a game and one of them isn't named correctly. Hey everyone, go play Frog Fractions if you haven't. Play it without the DLC, and if you really like it, maybe buy the DLC, or maybe buy a completely separate game that, you know what, I have a completely separate recommendation. Totally not related to this at all. Go play Glittermitten Grove. Totally not related at all. Go play these games. They're really good. Frog Fractions is free, I think. Yeah, Frog Fractions is free, and then the DLC is $10. to kind of reveal what I'm talking about here. Frog Fractions was a Flash game from 10, 12 years ago. That was absurdist comedy slash non sequiturs slash references. Sounds like a game I would have played in third grade math class. The Frog Fractions part is like, yeah, it seems like a third grade math class type game, but then it goes places. You go on an undersea adventure, and then you go to Bug Mars, and then you stand trial for killing too many bugs on Bug Mars, and then you become president, and it goes places. It jumps from genre to genre as well. So you're playing a platformer, then you're playing a old school text adventure, then you're playing a shop simulator a la Drug Wars, or I guess Lemonade Stand. And the entire time it's written so well. And then the person who made Frog Fractions had an ARG because everyone was like, where's Frog Fraction 2? Where's Frog Fraction 2? So he made an ARG, an alternate reality game, which is not a video game. It is a, God, how do you describe an ARG quickly? Basically just something you play along with in real life, like trying to find puzzles and solve things, and basically every few weeks he would come out with another thing, or someone would discover another thing, and it would lead everyone onto a puzzle goose chase of, oh, that puzzle gives us this clue and we can use that to go to this URL that we found, and oh, there's a thing on the website that brings us to here and it's a picture of a hot dog. What does that mean? And it was a lot of nonsense, honestly. And then after that, the same guy released Glittermitten Grove, which basically goes on the same kind of tangents as Frog Fraction does. And then re-released Frog Fractions on Steam and added Hop's Iconic Cap, which is the next Frog Fractions after that. So, yeah, Frog Fractions is fun. If you enjoy non sequitur absurdist humor, you should play it. I'm gonna say overall, Frog Fractions Hop's Iconic Cap is a good game. Actually, for Hop's Iconic Cap, it's probably an okay game. Not as good as the ones before it, but still decent. And then Glass had, I don't remember if Glass had the idea or if I had the idea, and asked Glass, I'm like, one of us said, hey, you want to do co-op? So we started doing co-op. We looked at some old games that we played and hadn't finished, like Orcs Must Die 2, which is a tower defense slash shooter, third person shooter, where you are, it's like, kind of D&D, not actually D&D, what's not themed, same like time period, genre as D&D, so like magic and sorcery and, you know, barbarian class, wizard class, etc. But also you have these guns and you build these traps that, you know, like spike walls that the orcs will run through and take damage, and then acid traps and large spinners and big catapults that'll fling them around. And Orcs Must Die 2 was really fun. I'm gonna say that's a great game. Orcs Must Die 2 is a great game. It had a lot of DLC. and trying to come up with tower defense stuff with a friend, and was fun. Honestly, for me, it leaned a little too heavily on the gunplay versus the traps. I like tower defense. I like building traps and then watching enemies run through it and die. Agreed. Fun to talk out the strategy. Yeah, that's what I liked most about the gameplay itself. Watching the orcs come through was fun. Having to shoot half of them because they got too far was not fun. This talking about the strategy of, do we set this up here? Do we lure everyone around this way? That was really fun to talk about. Along with Orcs Must Die, I like alternating. I played Ori and the Will of the Wisps, which is not coming up. There it is. I mean, we suck, so the gun was very helpful. It could be that we suck. It could be that the game assumed that you'd be using the gun a lot, and then made it so that you had to. I don't know. Ori and the Will of the Wisps is a fun, fast platformer. It's a sequel to Ori and the Blind Forest that, if you haven't played that, I recommend you play that. You don't have to play that before playing this, but it's the same style. It is a Metroidvania where you are platforming around and you beat some bosses and get some power-ups that help you get to other places that you passed by, or open doors that you passed by. And then you find more abilities and then have to backtrack a little bit to go to something else. And Ori has a few things that I don't like about it. It still has the chase sequences that there's a giant enemy chasing you, and if it catches up to you, you die and have to start over. I don't like that, and I didn't like, there was one area of, one area of platforming I didn't like that was very difficult. But they were mostly isolated sequences, so I think it was fine. The later powers you get in that game feel so powerful, and even though the levels are specifically designed for you to be able to get those abilities and get to new places, just being able to jump up so high, like triple jump, quadruple jump, and boost yourself up, feels like you're breaking the game. Feels like, oh, they definitely didn't allow me to get here, but they totally allowed it. Or they definitely didn't mean for me to get here, but no, they totally meant it. Of course they did. You feel so powerful at the end of that game. The storyline is sad in parts, so that does not make, those sections did not make a great stream experience, but I love games with that kind of power curve. Yeah, where you start off with barely anything, then you get a little bit of power, and then by the third or fourth power up, you're like, all right, I'm moving, I'm trucking along, everything's feeling great, and then you get something that makes you feel doubly as powerful, and then doubly as powerful after that, and you're like, what is this? I can do everything. And then you get another power, you're like, no, I can do so much more. That kind of power curve is so fun. I think this is one of the best games, honestly. If you enjoy platformers, if you enjoy Metroidvanias, if you enjoy puzzle games, go play Ori. It's fantastic. Then I had an idea to do some chill city building on stream, so I built cities and city skylines. Built a city. I fell into a deep hole of City Skylines a few years ago, where I played it a lot in a very short time, and then installed some mods and played it even more, and it was basically all I played for a month. This was before I was streaming. Cities makes you realize how actually bad you are at City Planning. That's one of my caveats about the game. There's a lot in City Skyline that City Skylines does right. There are some individual elements that stick out as being utterly wrong. Did you know if you have a 4-lane road in real life, people will drive on every one of those lanes? Did you know if you put a 4-lane road in City Skylines, everyone will crowd into the right lane even though all of the lanes are going straight? Why? That's not how people drive. That pissed me off so much that I couldn't figure that out. In real life, people account for traffic when deciding which route to take. They're like, oh, I could take the shortest path, but the shortest path is really busy nowadays, so I'm going to go around it, and I'm going to be driving a longer distance, but it'll still be shorter. In City Skylines, everyone says, this is the shortest path, it is the most direct, I am going to go that way. And then it takes 5 hours for anyone to get anywhere because they're in a giant traffic jam. I really think it's a game that the devs really liked and relied on mods to make it super good. Absolutely. It feels like that, and when I was playing with it with mods before streaming it, it felt like the mods were improving the game a lot, far beyond what the developers put in the game. When I was playing it on stream, I was playing with some mods, I think, but it was kind of like the basic mods that I think I watched a YouTube video of like the top 10 mods that everyone needs to use. One of the things I don't like is when game developers rely on the fans to make things in order to make their game good. Your game should be good you should be trying to make your game good out the gate. You should not be relying on fans to make your game good for you. Not to get off tangent too much, but Cyberpunk. Every once in a while I see something new about Cyberpunk and how fans have reintroduced the subway system back into Cyberpunk because there were subways around town, the subway fast travel system. There were subways around town, but you couldn't get into them because they cut that part out of the game because they couldn't figure it out. And then they released Cyberpunk, and now it's months and months later, and fans have done it, and everyone's like cheering, like, hooray. And I'm like, why wasn't that there in the first place? I just took Cyberpunk off my wish list. What? Man, Cyberpunk. I want to mention here, I've not played Cyberpunk. I'm probably never going to play Cyberpunk. It's not my style of game, first off. But the hype died and I just don't care anymore. The hype died when it came out and everyone said, oh, look, this runs terribly on consoles and not great on PCs, and everything I heard about it was that, like, even if you do get it running great, the gameplay itself is middling. And the story isn't great, and like people generally said it will be good after a few patches. That's okay. So in the same way that I just said developers should not rely on fans to make their game good for them, fans should not expect developers to spend countless hours making a game good. If a game releases and is bad, maybe just treat that game as bad until, like, don't expect that they're going to make it good at some point. Just like say, okay, that game's bad, I'm gonna go play something else. And if they release a patch, I'll look at it and say, hey, is this game good yet? And if it's not, then don't worry about it. One of the things that I'm going to get to later in this stream as I'm talking about the games I played is getting hyped about games before they come out can be disastrous. I will get to that game when I get to it. For now, getting back on track, City Skylines. I think they did rely too much on fans to make the game good for them. I think City Skylines is... At the same time, City Skylines hooked me in and got me addicted to it in a way that very few games have done. So that's at least a good game. I don't think it's a great game for streams. I don't know, maybe it is. Maybe if I probably should have taken Glass's advice and actually had a goal for what I was going to do in my city. Because I didn't actually have a goal for the stream. I was just like, yeah, I'm going to build a city. And then I was just playing City Skylines with no real purpose. After City Skylines, I played a short indie game called Golf Club Wasteland, which is a small golf game. Oops, don't put that there. A small golfing game that I thought was going to be good, based off of... I listened to a few game reviewers, and I kind of have their taste style down, so I know, hey, if this game reviewer likes something, it's going to be one of these genre, it'll be, a good shooter or a good adventure game or a good platformer or a good old school game. And then if this other reviewer likes it, it'll be a good, I know what they like, so I know how that applies to me. Golf Club Wasteland is where my system failed me. It's a super fun golf game that can be hard. A lot like Desert Golfing. Desert Golfing is a mobile game that there's no storyline. You're just playing golf in the desert. That's it. That's it. There's nothing else to that game. You just play golf through the desert. Oh, also there's no end. It just keeps going on forever. You complete hole 1, it moves to hole 2, and you complete hole 2 and it moves to hole 3, and I'm on hole 3000 or something like that. Golf Club Wasteland has a vibe that it's very end of the world, except you're someone who's extremely rich and you came back to Earth because they've made Earth a golf course. But then it's filled with references to the current world and current state of things that is a little bit disjointed and makes it not as fun. I don't want to... As I was playing it, I was realizing that the premise itself is kind of why I didn't like playing the game. I don't want to be a billionaire coming back to the wasteland that is Earth to play golf on it. Because that's what I don't want to happen. I don't want the billionaires to leave Earth to ruins. So I'm going to say this game's not for me. Which is fine. I did hear, from reviewers that a lot of people did enjoy it. Just didn't strike chord with me. Next after that, Glass and I were continuing our co-op adventure with Orcs Must Die 3, which, why is this not pasting? Nope. Okay, hold on one second. Copy this. There it goes. Sorry for the technical issue. Orcs Must Die 3, the sequel to Orcs Must Die 2. We were playing as different characters, so I was getting used to new weapons. It has larger battles, occasional larger battles that are back in time. Like, here's what happened, 100 years ago or whatever. Not 100, but you get to build super large things, like giant siege towers or catapults, but only where they want you to. War missions, thank you. That's what it is. Where there's a whole lot of enemies coming at you. And then special enemies and whatnot. But it has some issues where you can only build some buildings where they want you to in some designated areas. And then those special traps are only available for that one round, and then you go back to the normal stuff for like 2 or 3 rounds, and then you go to another war mission, and then you go back to the old stuff again. That felt very disjointed. Like they wanted to include this as a feature, but they couldn't figure out how to do it constantly, without taking away the novelty aspect of look at how big this thing is. It also had issues with, so when we were playing it on stream, it did have at least one bug where enemies could not walk through a doorway. Or they could, it was just a very narrow doorway to them, and they had to all group up and trickle through at a slow pace. That kind of killed the momentum on the game, but luckily that was like the last mission. I don't know. I just didn't like Orcs Must Die 3 as much as I liked 2. There were too many little things about it that kind of bugged me. I think it's still a... I think Orcs Must Die 3 is an okay game. If I had to go replay one right now, it would be 2. Actually, it'd probably be 1 because I don't remember what 1 was, but I remember playing it a lot. But I don't remember if 1 had co-op, so we couldn't stream that. So then after that, I decided, hey, it's been a while since I played... Like, I was looking at, okay, so I'm playing these tower defense games, and I played this City Builder, and before that I played some tactical games with Pokemon Mystery Dungeon and Invisible Ink. It's been a while since I played an RPG. So I played the RPG series that I'm most familiar with, Pokemon. Pokemon Omega Ruby for the Nintendo 3DS, using an emulator that... I guess the emulator's fine. It's my computer has a little bit of trouble streaming and running that emulator at the same time. Both are basically the same. Oh yeah, both Orcs Must Die 2 and 3 are basically the same game. Oh, sorry, I missed a message. You think OMD3 was better because of war missions? I think the war missions were fun. I don't like how you can only put the large things where they wanted you to. And I didn't like how you couldn't, like, they weren't back to back. You had to do 3 normal missions and then do a war mission. I probably would have liked the war missions better if it was its own separate mode and not just every 3rd level in the story mode. If we did like the normal story mode and then there were war missions after that. Pokemon Omega Ruby. Little background of my Pokemon knowledge. When Red Blue came out, I played, I think, Blue. And then I played Yellow when it came out. And then I played, like, probably 15 minutes of Gold or Silver. I don't remember which one. And then kind of bounced off that really hard. And then was a Gen 1er for a long time. And then Fire Red came out, and I played through Gen 1 again. And then Heart Gold came out for the DS, and I'm like, I'm going to give this another try. And I fell in love with Heart Gold. And that got me back into Pokemon. And then I tried some of the newer games at that time. I tried Black, White, I tried Black 2, White 2, which seemed a lot like the same things. Actually, I might not have tried Black 2, White 2. Then I played Pokemon X. Then I played Pokemon Sun, and we didn't have Black 2, White 2. Right, we didn't. Right, sorry, we had either Black or White. I don't remember which one I played. Every one of those new at the time generation games, Black and X and Sun, I played for at most 3 gyms and got bored of it. Because I played enough to remember what Pokemon is, and like, yep, that's enough Pokemon. I don't need to go through what I've gone through for, 20, 30 more hours. So I never played Gen 3 at all. I didn't play Omega Ruby when it came out. But playing it on stream, it's Pokemon. It's definitely Pokemon. It's fun. It had the same issue of once I get a few gyms in, it starts being the same and you're just doing the same things over and over again. And Gen 3 best gen, I'll have to take your word for that, but for me it's definitely not. There's that recurring issue of if I were not streaming Pokemon Omega Ruby, I probably would have stopped at about the 5th gem. The Mega Evolution stuff was not my favorite. It just seemed like a way to be more powerful and like, okay, so I have a button to push that I get more powerful. That seems okay, but I can't do it with everyone. And I have to find a stone to do it. Okay. That's weird. The storyline is weird. There are 2 separate storylines. There's the one of you being the very best and collecting all the badges and defeating all the gym leaders and beating the Elite Four. And then there's an entirely separate storyline of the world is ending. We need someone to save it. And you finish the wrong one first. You save the world from destruction. Minor spoilers for Omega Ruby. But hey, if you haven't played it by now or not known the storyline, it's been a while. You save the world from destruction. And everyone is so grateful and so thankful and like, you're the best. And we couldn't have done it without you. And we're all the entire planet owes you a debt of gratitude. And then everyone walks away and the gym leader for that town's like, but you only have 7 badges, so you should come fight me and prove yourself. I just destroyed the monster that was going to destroy the world, and or caught the monster, but I didn't catch the monster. I screwed up and used Earthquake or something. You save the world from destruction, and then they're all like, but you only have 7 gyms, you only have 7 badges, you scrub. You're not the best. Fuck you, I'm not. And like the rest of the game is just like, I'm sitting there going, I saved the world from destruction. This is where every RPG ends. How you are the best because you did the thing. And this is like, no, you still got another badge to get. Then you got to go fight the Elite Four, but you need to get a different HM first. You didn't get that HM yet. You need that HM to climb the waterfall or probably waterfall. And then you can go fight the Elite Four, and they're like, yeah, you saved the world or whatnot, but you're not going to beat me. Like, then if you thought that you were better than I did, why didn't you try to save the world? Come on. And then you get to the final Elite Four member and he's like, hey, yeah, I watched you save the world and I told you that you're the only one that could do it, but you're not going to beat me. I'm like, fuck you. That it brought me out of it so hard that the Pokemon storyline is that weird with the timing of that stuff. Pokemon Omega Ruby is an okay game. It's still Pokemon. If you like Pokemon, you'll like it. Everything I heard about it was like, oh, there's a lot of water, and it was like more than halfway through the game until I got Surf. So that was weird expectation thing out of nowhere, but yeah, Pokemon's okay. Half the map is water, but you don't need to explore most of it. Yeah. So everyone was saying like, oh, there's so much water. I hope you like water. I'm like, okay, so I'm going to get like Surf after. I'm expecting to get, I'm going to get Surf after like the second badge and then have to go explore water, right? And then I'm in the water for most of the game. And it's like, nope, you need like 4 or 5 badges before you can surf. Okay, this is not what everyone told me. Let's see what's next here. Okay, I only have... Actually, I can see what number I'm on. Pokemon was game number 30 of 41. So I think now's a good time to take another break. And we'll talk, and then when I come back after a few minutes, we'll talk about the last 11 games that I've streamed. Stick around, I'll be back in 2 minutes. And I'm back. Hi, everyone. I'm in the middle of putting all of the games I've streamed in 2021 into a tier list. And as you can see, I'm calling this Faded put all of the games he streamed in 2021 into a tier list, and this is the result. I'm about 2/3 of the way through. We're getting into... God, when did I start playing this game? Probably recently. The next game on my list is Baba Is You, which is a super fun puzzle game. It is a brutally tough puzzle game where the point of the game is to push around blocks to change the rules of the game. So, for example, one of the early puzzles, it just says wall is stop, which means if you try to walk into a wall, you're stopped. But if you just push, sorry, that's 3 separate blocks, wall is stop. If you push one of those blocks out of the way, it breaks the rule, and now wall is no longer stop, so you can walk through the wall. So it's a lot of figuring out how to manipulate the rules to make it possible to win in the first place. It's a very, well, on the surface, it's a very simple game, but it's a real brain scratcher of trying to figure out how do we even do that. And there were a couple streams where I was just trying to walk through things and getting nowhere and getting lost in the same loops and stuff like that. I think Baba Is You is a great game, honestly. If you like puzzle games, you should definitely check it out. But if you, I guess I would say watch someone play the first few levels before you buy it. Just to get a hang of what it's like and if you think you'd like it. Because it's definitely not for everybody, but I think it's great. So earlier in the stream, I mentioned how I would be talking about games that getting hyped about is not necessarily a good thing. In fact, getting hyped about a game can be terrible. So I put on the stream before this game came out that I would be playing it. Skatebird It's a game about skating, and you're a bird. Everything I saw about early footage, it looked like a Tony Hawk game, like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, but as birds and with funny dialogue. I did not like this game. I played it for a few streams. It was okay. But it had major issues with camera controls, with maintaining speed. You would just, not randomly, but you would just stop out of nowhere and I wouldn't know why. And it wasn't too clear what you needed to do to progress the game at the start. I've seen that they've done a few patches on it. I haven't really checked it out, but this game was not for me. I remember playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 on the Game Boy Advance, ? And just messing around with that. All the negatives for Skateboard are the same as Super Mario 64. Poor camera control. Well, poor camera controls. Doesn't tell you what to do. Yeah, I think that's true. I think it shares a lot of the same negatives as Super Mario 64. The difference being, Skatebird is a game about skating where you want to keep going fast, so you need clear objectives on where to go, on what to do, or on where to go, how to get there, how to maintain speed. And Mario 64 is an adventure game that's about exploring a world. Skateboard can be about exploring a world, but it doesn't give you movement controls that let you do that, since you have to get anywhere by skating. So I kind of think it misses the mark there. Also, the comedy in Skatebird is fine. I don't know if it just wasn't my style of comedy, or if it was too non sequitur in parts when I wasn't expecting a reference to a thing, maybe. Yeah, so that's Skatebird is when I made the decision that I need to vet every single game before I play it. So that's why I'm not playing any brand new games on stream anymore, because sometimes I get overly hyped about a game when I shouldn't, and that's what happens. So after Skatebird, I wanted to go back to an older game that I knew a lot about, but had not played, Yoshi's Crafted World. This is the most chill platform I've played ever. Yeah, ever. Like more than Yoshi's Island. Sorry, I don't know why I couldn't think of that. It's one of my favorite games. It's Yoshi's Crafted World is upfront so cute. Everything is built, everything looks like it's built just from household objects, like cardboard cutouts of Shy Guys, or a toilet paper roll that you have to walk on and get somewhere, or magnets that you use as ledges. And you unlock cute costumes and can go back and replay levels from the other direction. There's so many good things about this game that make me want to play it way more, which is why, just like with Invisible Ink, this is one of the games that I might be playing tomorrow. going back and doing some of the levels that I haven't done the extra Poochie stuff for. Poochie's the name of the dogs. Yeah, and every level and every world was great and had its own identity with, okay, so this is like the scary level, the quote-unquote scary level. What? No. You want me to put a bit goal for moving Subnautica to S? I can do, or not a bit, a channel points goal? I can do that, but you can't afford it. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so Yoshi's Crafted World, there were so many times when I would just be sitting there smiling because I was enjoying playing this game. I think Yoshi's Crafted World is a great game. It's not one of the best, honestly, but it's great. I say it's not one of the best because so it still uses the Yoshi's mechanic of making eggs and throwing eggs, and the throwing can be a little hard when, so first of all, throwing eggs was always hard in Yoshi games, in 2D Yoshi games, but now you can throw things into the foreground or background, and the game kind of guesses where you mean to be aiming and sometimes gets it wrong, and that's kind of frustrating. So that's why it's not the best. Okay, so I think after Baba Is You, I was playing some SNES games. I was finishing up Super Mario World. And I had finally beaten it, and I had a little bit of time left over in stream. So I booted up another SNES game, Donkey Kong Country. Fuck Donkey Kong Country. Donkey Kong Country is unforgiving. It is extremely difficult for what it forces you to do with precise timing of jumps on minecarts, or you're running fast enough but can't see what's ahead of you. God, I don't even remember how far I got in that game. Did I get to the second minecart level? Like, at a point in that game, I wished I had a Game Genie to just get infinite lives and try and beat it that way, because that game just is way too difficult. And that feels like it feels difficult in an incorrect way that doesn't make it fun difficult. It's I'm doing the same thing over and over again, and my timing is not precise enough, so I'm just missing this jump over and over. And even on the not minecart levels, even when you're just playing as Donkey Kong or Diddy Kong, that you take your finger off the D-pad and it's still a few frames before they stop, just because they're like massive, so the momentum carries them a little farther. But when you're trying to make precise jumps on platforms that are not extremely clear as to where the ground actually is, or where you can fall off of it, that it becomes super difficult. I enjoyed at the time that they tried to make something look 3D by using 2D sprites of pre-rendered 3D models. Didn't you have to start over after dying too? There are save points that you have to save at, but the first minecart level is before the first save point. So if you run out of all of your lives on the minecart level, oh no, it might not have been the minecart level, that might have been after the save point, but I did run out of lives at some point on the second world, and it sent me to the beginning of the game again because it didn't prompt to save after the first world boss. Even Mario saved after each boss, Mario World. Like, what is that bullshit? Why are these save points in random places? I'm not saying I should be able to save anytime, because I don't need that. I need the save points to make sense though. So that was Donkey Kong Country. At this point, Glass and I finished playing whatever we were playing, and we started a new game. Not new. We started a game that I had played before that he had barely played before, called Astroneer. Astroneer is a crafting / resource gathering game where the main hook of the game is you have a gun, a terraforming gun, that you can suck up dirt, and it deforms the ground in a very unique way that no other game has really done before, or that no other game I've seen has done before. And then you can deposit the dirt back if you have a canister to collect it, and you get resources as you're going through Astroneer. And oh, sorry, the caveat of the game is that you launch yourself from an orbiting spaceship onto this planet and have barely anything. So you're building this base and gathering resources and finding more resources and exploring more of the planet and activating these weird alien structures, and then building a rocket ship and going over to another planet that has other resources on it, and kind of building more bases and activating more planets. And it's really fun to do all of that. I don't think there's any part of Astroneer that I don't enjoy doing. I enjoy organizing my base. I enjoy collecting the resources. I enjoy activating the alien structures. I just enjoy digging the holes in the ground. The terrain deforms in such a great way. I think Astroneer is one of the best games I've ever played. And it's going over here. And its co-op has a few issues with it's repetitive for the second half. Yeah, it was repetitive for the second half, but I enjoyed what I was doing so much that it didn't, like, even while we were speeding through planets and trying to do things as quickly as possible, I was enjoying doing that. If we tried to activate every node on every planet, I could absolutely see that being super repetitive and hating it. Luckily, I don't give a heck about achievements. Hey, just so you know, everyone who watches, that's why we're not going back and doing achievements, because that's one of them. Just go activate every node. The last 2 or 3 planets we were able to rush through and it didn't add much. So I think we might have not researched as many buildings and like played around with stuff as much, because we needed the helium for nanocarbon alloy, and we could use the nanocarbon alloy for a bunch of other things that we just didn't get to, because you don't need to beat the game, so we didn't. But kind of like how in Minecraft there's so many things that you don't need to do to beat the game, but it's just fun to do. But I totally get that standpoint of, well, you know, so the game has like half the buildings not required, so we never really saw them. Yeah, I suppose that's a downside, but but I still enjoyed everything we were doing. And I think co-op overall made that game better. Still fun though. Yeah, absolutely. I think co-op made that game better, but I remember enjoying playing it in single player as well. There were some issues with co-op, as I was saying, where the second player's weather was not always accurate. Glass would say he sees wind, but the wind turbines weren't spinning. And I'm like, there's no wind at all. And then he's like, where's the wind? And I'm like, the wind's right there. It's blowing all the time. All the wind turbines are spinning. Co-op made some of the repetitive things not so bad. That's probably true. So the weather thing was an issue. The game has a thing where every time you get in or out of a vehicle or a ship or a base, it saves the game, which if you're playing single player is fine. It saving the game causes a slight hitch, but if you're getting in or out of a vehicle, you're waiting for that animation anyway. In co-op, if someone gets in a vehicle and you're not in a vehicle and you're trying to do something, the game just hitches for seemingly no reason. And then it says game saved. And you're like, oh, okay, someone got in a vehicle. So that hitching kind of bugged the heck out of me a lot. But minor nitpicks on what I think is one of the best games I've ever played. Next up, number 36, a game from my childhood, Castlevania Circle of the Moon. Was worse because the bug where I couldn't drive sometimes. Right, I forgot about that bug in Astroneer, where sometimes the co-op player simply can't drive the vehicle. You can get in, but the controls don't do anything. Weird. All right. Next up is Castlevania Circle of the Moon, a game from my childhood. It originally came out on the Game Boy Advance, where I played a heck of a lot of it. It was recently re-released in the Konami Castlevania Advance Collection. And that game holds up a lot. It still has some of the same problems it had back then, where the absolute last part of that game is grindy as hell because it's not quite balanced correctly. Overall, I felt throughout the course of the game I had to do a little bit of grinding, but not much. And it got a little bit more as the game went on, a little bit more as the game went on, and then right before the last boss fight, you need to just grind because you need to gain 3 levels out of nowhere. Or you need to be able to... I guess you don't need to grind if you don't mind dying over and over trying to figure out what you need to do. But the story in Castlevania is okay. It's not the best, but I've always felt that about all the Castlevania games. Of the story's not really what Castlevania is about. It's about the Metroidvania part of it. Running around that castle and whipping dudes. Circle of the Moon also has the card system where you can combine cards together and get special powers, and finding different combinations of special powers to help you out is really fun also. I think that's a great game. So I'm going to put it here. I do plan on playing the other Castlevania games in that advanced collection at some point in the future. Harmony of Dissonance and Aria of Sorrow. Probably not soon though. I've got some other games I want to get through first. Then I had one stream where I played a quick game called Air Memories of Old. This is a game where I'm trying to remember this game. Remember the specifics about this game. I remember enjoying some of the movement controls. So you're, I think, a human that can turn into a bird and fly around and fly from one of these weird sky islands to the next and solve some puzzles that let you into some areas. It's a very adventure game type thing. Kind of puzzle heavy, and has story bits about why we're all in Sky Islands and what happened. I don't remember too much more about it, though. I'm sorry, I've been talking all day, so I'm starting to lose my voice. I remember enjoying it, but I don't remember too much of the specifics, which I guess makes it an okay game. I'm just going to put it over here. I definitely enjoyed flying around, but yeah, no, couldn't tell you much about it. And I played it recently, too. Next, we're at game 38 of 41. We're at a game that I haven't finished playing on stream yet, Yakuza 0. I had an idea to start some long, super long games, and boy, Yakuza is a long game. I think I'm like a third of the way through it, maybe? Maybe like 2/5. I don't know, 40%, 45%. I don't know. I couldn't actually tell you. So far, Yakuza is a fantastic game. It has a main storyline that has me intrigued to see where it goes next. There are a lot of unknowns that I want to kind of figure out what's going on, who does own this small lot, and why. I mean, I know why the Yakuza want it. Why does the real estate guy know everything about me and everything about everything? Why, I guess some of the questions have been answered in like flashback cutscenes and stuff like that by now. But also, what's going on with Majima and this blind girl? Why does everyone want to kill this blind girl? What's up with that? And also, why are these Mahjong opponents so hard? Yakuza has a lot of side story and side mission stuff. I think I read somewhere that it has 100 side stories, and the side stories can be insane. They're like, okay, so one of the ones I did on stream is, you meet a kid who's in line to buy a video game, and he's so excited because he gets to buy it on release day, and it's a popular game series, so it's probably going to sell out, and he's never going to get it again because it's Japan, and I don't know. And then you see the kid again, and he's crying. He's like, some guy stole my game. And you chase down the guy, and it's a teenage kid, and he's like, aha. But by the time you get to him, someone's running away from him, and then you get to the kid, you beat him up, and you're like, you should return that kid's game. I would, but someone stole it from me. And then you chase down this punk, who you get there, and you're like, you should return this game. This game belongs to that kid. What? That game belonged to that teen. No, that teen stole it from the kid. You should go return it to that kid. I'm going to beat you up to get the game back. And you beat him up. And he's like, I don't have it anymore. A Yakuza member stole it from me. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go chase down this Yakuza member. Go beat him up and say, yo, listen, the guy you stole this from stole it from a teenager who stole it from. My head hurts. And like a lot of like, what the hell is even going on now? And then it turns out, hey, the Yakuza member who stole it only stole it because he wanted a game for his son to play. And it turns out that the kid who originally bought the game is the Yakuza member's son. And that's a side story that took a half hour and has nothing to do with the main story whatsoever. But I solved that problem. and then you just turn around and there's another problem of this woman who's trying to be a dominatrix isn't good at being a dominatrix, so now you have to teach her how. And what? Why? The game goes into crazy places, and you're in so many crazy scenarios that I think I love this game, and I'm not half of the way through it yet. I'm gonna put this as a great game for now, with the possibility that it becomes the best of the best later. I don't know. Probably, but I can't say until I beat it. I had one stream where I showed off my island in Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing is a game that I played a lot of in March 2020 when it came out. And played a lot of in April, and a lot of in May, and a lot of in June, and then basically none in July, August, September, and so on. And then they released a new update with, let's see, it had the Roost, so it had Brewster, it had Harv opened up his island so that you could meet the random villagers or the random shopkeepers that come to your island once a week. You could meet them more often. And it had, who's the other character? The one that shows you the islands, Cap'n. It added all these characters and it added so many more things, so I wanted to check it out on stream and kind of show off my town. Animal Crossing New Horizons isn't the best Animal Crossing, but it's what I needed at the beginning of the pandemic. Absolutely. It kept my mind off of not being able to leave the apartment. Not that I left the apartment much anyway, but it helped keep me sane. That isn't really anything about the quality of the game, more of the quality of it being a time killer. I think overall Animal Crossing New Horizons is a good game. I don't think it's great. There's a lot of fussy, nuanced stuff about it. AC came out at the perfect time. Yup. Nintendo really got lucky with that one, honestly. I think if everyone had not been locked up at home when that game came out, it would have been a lot different. It would not have caught fire as it still would have been popular, just not as much. And if there had not been a pandemic, they would have released updates. This is speculation. They would have released more content in each one of their monthly holiday updates. Because it seems like with the last update that they just had, maybe a lot of that is held over from here's my thinking. They needed to release the holiday updates as right before the holidays. So right before Halloween, you need to push the Halloween update to the game. Right before New Year's Day, you need to push the New Year's Day update to the game. Right before Mother's Day, you need to push the Mother's Day update into not Mother's Day. I guess other holidays like that. You need to make sure that those holidays are in the game, because if they're not, then everyone will be wondering what the hell's going on. But they also had planned, this part is speculation, they also planned to put other content in each one of those updates to keep making sure that the game is fresh and adding new things and adding new things. But with Nintendo working at home, they probably couldn't have devoted as many resources or been as efficient to make sure that those updates had everything in them. So they prioritize the holiday stuff that needs to be out. And all of this extra content, Brewster and Cap'n and Holiday, or Vacation Home Island, whatever that thing is, those are a bunch of incremental updates that were planned to be released with the holiday updates that they kind of had to keep pushing back because we don't have the resources to do everything. So I think if the pandemic did not happen, Animal Crossing would not have caught fire at the beginning as quickly as it did, and would not have been as popular as it was at the beginning, but it would have stayed popular for longer because the updates would have had more content in them. So that's why I think it's a good game, because each one of the updates did not have enough content to pull me back into it, but it might have if things had gone differently. Yep. So moving on to a small game that I played over the course of 2 streams, small indie game called Unpacking. This is a small puzzle game where it starts with you as it seems like elementary school kid, unpacking all your boxes and moving into a new bedroom, and putting all of your stuff. You open up a box, take out this doll and put it on the shelf, and take out this book, and you decide where to put everything in the room. And there's a puzzle aspect of it because the game won't allow you to put things anywhere. You can't just leave your books hanging out on the floor. They have to go on a shelf or on a table or on a desk or in a cabinet or something like that. And then you go to the next level of you are moving out of your childhood bedroom into a college dorm room. And then you unpack again, and then you're moving into a bigger apartment with roommates. And you know, as the life of this person continues, you unpack a bunch of different times, and you uncover a storyline in every time you unpack. There are objects that you keep with you, objects that you don't have anymore, objects that you just got last time that you're continuing to bring with you, and putting the pieces together, putting the pieces away in your new environment, and exploring the new environment that you're in creates a kind of storyline that it's helps you create a storyline in your head of who you think this person is, and lets you mold this person in your head, in your thoughts. Also, it's a really chill game. You can just chill out and like, I'm just gonna organize a bathroom today, or I'm just gonna take all the books on the shelf and rearrange them because I want to. Because I don't like how these look. I'm going to move this book over here, this book over here. Unpacking also has an amazing amount of detail in its pixel art. You can look at DVD covers that are made of about 30 pixels total and say, oh, I know what that movie is. That's The Matrix. Or this video game is The Simpsons Hit and Run, which I picked out and I'm like, is that it? I looked it up later. It is Simpsons Hit and Run. And it's amazing that they could give that level of detail and make these things recognizable with so few pixels and so little quality. Not so little quality. Wrong words. So little resolution. The art design is fantastic. The sound design is fantastic. I heard that there are over 10,000 sound files in the game because every object you put down somewhere has different sounds for whatever surface you're putting it on, because a book being placed on a shelf sounds different than a book being placed on a bed, so they need different sound files. So every combination of, well, not every combination, but most combinations have a unique sound, and that's an extra detail that makes this feel alive. I think Unpacking is a great game. It's short, it's sweet, and it's a very chill game. And then to the last game I played in 2021 on stream, Glass and I started a game of Civilization 5, which we have not finished yet. We're playing a 2 versus 2 versus 2, where it's us versus two different teams of AI, and one of them is being aggressive, and I don't like it. Civilization is a game that I've been playing for a while. I started playing Civ 3. I never really sunk too many. You defended well. Yeah, I just, they're being aggressive and they need to learn how to back off. And I didn't get their siege tower. Civilization is a game I've been playing since 3, but I never got too deep into it and learned too much of it. But it's still a game that I could just sink 100 hours into it, just like chilling out and beating up some barbarians and or conquering Caesar or whatever. Civ 5, I'm going to say, is a good game, just because I don't go back to it too often. Don't worry, you'll get another chance at that siege tower next time he comes for you. Yep, we are going to keep playing Civ tomorrow, assuming Glass is free and shows up at some point. We plan to play it. Unless something comes up, we're going to play it. And that is all 41 games I've played on stream in 2021. So, I want to thank everyone from the bottom of my heart for watching over 2021. I want to thank you for even just turning the stream on, but also for following, subscribing to on YouTube, following me on Twitter. Yeah. Do your spam thing. What was I gonna say? Your spamming chat made me lose my train of thought. Come on, Glass. I appreciate everyone who watches. It's why I stream, so that people can watch. I'm not doing it for money. If I was, I would have given up a long time ago and just gotten a second job, because, like, come on, this streaming is not how to make it big. Streaming is how very few people get extremely lucky and make it big. Streaming is not a reliable source of income. I stream so that people will watch me stream, so that I can hang out and chill and talk with people while I play games. So yeah, leave a comment, subscribe, etc. Do any of that. If you want. If you want to just watch, that's fine too. I'm not your dad. I'm not going to tell you what you need to do. That was a lot of games in 2021. Coming up in 2022, we've got a 12-hour anniversary celebration stream. It's been almost a year of me streaming. In fact, January 2nd is my anniversary for streaming. I've been doing this for a year now. So I'm going to have a 12-hour anniversary stream tomorrow, where I'm going to be playing a lot of games. I've got a short list of short games. I got a different short list of games to come back to and look at again. Invisible Ink and what was the other one that I mentioned? I'm looking on this list here on screen. Yoshi's Crafted World. Those are both on that list. But I've also got, new games that are short enough that I didn't want to devote a full stream to them, so I'm just going to check those out. Or maybe play some Mahjong, play some co-op with people. Glass and I are going to play some Civ. I'm going to probably, most likely, play some Minecraft Bingo with a friend of mine. We're going to be filling up bingo cards trying to get items, so that'll be fun. I need to set up a scene for that. Crap, I got work to do. So check that out tomorrow. That's going to start at 10 a.m. Eastern and go all the way until 10 p.m. Eastern. So, like, tune in sometime tomorrow and you got a 50% chance of being right. Chances are, if you're watching this now, you can just tune in tomorrow and catch the end of the stream, because it's, I'm going for a long time tomorrow, and it's going to be interesting. Then on Sunday, I'm picking up where I left off with Yakuza 0. I don't remember exactly where I left off. I got real estate things with Kiryu, and then I was getting cabaret clubs with Majima, and I'm trying to find out more information about the evil cabaret club owners that want to take over the city or something like that. So that'll be fun. And then on Wednesday, I'm going to be playing Sable, which is a relatively short game that came out in 2021. Coming up after what's on the schedule here, on Fridays, Glass and we're moving co-op to Fridays, and Glass and I are going to be playing Stardew Valley. That's a game that he's been bugging me about that I really should play for years now. Hey Glass, how long you been bugging me about that? Years, right? And then on Saturdays, I'm going to be playing Hades, that's a game that came out in late 2020 and won a bunch of awards in 2021. And I figure I should probably play that. It's a good game. People like watching it, hopefully. That reminds me. Hey, if you want to watch me play something specific, you should let me know, because I'm always looking for suggestions on games I should play. And I will eventually run out of games in my backlog at some point. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching. I will hopefully see you tomorrow during my 12-hour stream. If not, I'll see you whenever you tune back in. See you later.